When the threat of vampires sweeps across Europe in the 18th century, God-fearing townspeople turned to a simple set of weapons to combat evil.
Let's be honest, vampires fascinate us, right? There are hundreds, maybe even thousands of incarnations in books, movies, TV shows, and they can be creepy, sexy, or just downright terrifying.
Of course, we can thank Bram Stoker for this. His 1897 novel Dracula kicked off a wave of fictional vampire stories.
Belief in this folklore actually dates back thousands of years to ancient cultures around the world.
We had evil people who refused to die that could rise from their graves. These were labeled as Idimu for the ancient Sumerians. In ancient Rome, we have this spirit that could suck blood and life out of people called the Strix.
Some scholars believe the Christian fear of vampires may tie into the story of Jesus. At the Last Supper, Jesus tells his disciples that symbolically eating his flesh and drinking his blood will grant eternal life in heaven.
Vampires drain the blood and the life force from others to selfishly feed their own hunger and eternal life. So a vampire is kind of the antithesis to Jesus and meant to be feared.
This fear crystallizes when one Serbian town believes they come face to face with an actual vampire.
In July 1725, the local residents of Kisiljevo, Serbia, summon a health and safety official to their village to help deal with an unusual problem.
They believe that a man named Petar Blagojevic, who died 10 weeks earlier, is regularly getting up out of his grave and killing their families and loved ones. Blagojevic's widow tells the official, Provisor Frombald, that her husband knocked on her door after the funeral, demanding his shoes before attempting to strangle her.
Blagojevic attacks 9 more villagers over the course of 9 nights. Each incident is more terrifying than the last.
The village elders believe Blagojevic is vampiri, the Serbian word for back from the dead.
So Frumbald gets a priest and they exhume Blagojevic's body. They record that the appearance and smell of the corpse is fresh. The body hasn't decomposed at all. The hair and beard seem to have continued growing, and there's new skin and fingernails where the old ones had peeled away.
There seems to be fresh blood around the mouth, believed to be sucked from his victims.
Frumbald reports to the authorities that everything indicates Blagojevic is indeed a vampire. The villagers are ready to take action.
And there's one weapon they're confident can do the trick.
The townspeople drive a sharpened stake through Blagojevic's chest. Then Frumbald witnesses blood gushing from the ears and mouth, further proof of his undead status.
Frumbald's official report makes sensational newspaper copy, leading to the first printed use of the word vampiri, which quickly makes its way into other European languages, creating a full-blown vampire panic.
As terror spreads, one holy man in France has an idea on how to combat the problem.
In 1746, a Benedictine monk named Augustin Calmet publishes a book about angels, demons, and vampires. A vampire needs to be impaled, so they use a wooden stake through the heart. But the type of wood varies. White oak wood is popular, but some prefer aspen because there's a legend that Christ's cross was made of aspen.
But it was a very pragmatic solution. It was a stake to stake them to the ground so they didn't get up and start walking around again undead.
Soon, the arsenal of weapons used to fight the undead expands.
Vampires are seen as unholy creatures, and despite the fact that no official church doctrine says this, the vampire hunters out there are quick to decide that the best way to combat an unholy beast is with a holy weapon.
By the late 1800s and early 1900s, vampire killing kits include several religious items. They include rosary beads, Bibles, crucifixes, holy water. all because Christians believe they can fend off evil through the power of God.
We see stories where simply holding up a wood crucifix, the symbol of Jesus' sacrifice on the cross, is supposed to incapacitate a vampire. Holy water, a symbol of the Christian rite of baptism, will burn a vampire's skin or poison it if it's ingested.
Though the fear of vampires has waned over the years, interest in these weapons has never been stronger.
Today, vampire killing kits, pretty hot item on the auction block. In 2022, a kit from the late 1800s sold for nearly $20,000 by Hanson's auctioneers in England, with the claim that it has been authenticated.
Who knows, for that anonymous buyer, maybe those weapons will come in handy.